Hey saddle hunters, welcome back to the channel. I am gonna do a video on climbing sticks today. You've not seen much on climbing sticks on this channel. I've been pretty simple when it comes to climbing sticks. I bought Hawk Heliums years and years and years ago, and I cut them down and modified them, and I used them for a long time. And I just recently decided to try out some different styles. I had some Shikars of various makes, and in the last year here I have picked up the Tethrd Skeletors as well as the Tethrd One Sticks. And in this video I want to give you a breakdown of the Tethrd Skeletors versus the Tethrd One Sticks. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Alright, so obviously these are both Tethrd sticks. The Skeletors are kind of their budget line stick, and the One Stick is more of the premium option. So let's start off by talking about what you get when you buy them and how much they are. The Skeletors come in a 4-pack, as you're going to see here, and they're about $225 as of the making of this video. So that makes them, you know, $55, $56 a stick, I think, something like that. The Tethrd One Sticks come in a 3-pack or a single pack. If you buy the 3-pack, that's $350 or about $116 a stick, more than double the cost of the Skeletors. And if you buy a single, you are going to add on another $140. So if you were to buy 4 of these, you're looking at $490 versus $225. So more than double the cost to get 4 Tethrd One Sticks versus the Skeletors. The two sticks have quite a few differences, and I want to break them down, talk to you about those. But first, let me just talk about some of the similarities between the two sticks. I'm going to break them down here and show you those similarities. All right, so here you have it, the Skeletor and the One Stick. What do they share in common other than being made by Tethrd? Well, they both have this Dynalock attachment system with the Dynalite ropes, which is basically the Tethrd version of Amsteel. And so they're going to attach to the tree the exact same way. Guys, I love this attachment system. I've tried a lot of different attachment systems, daisy chains, USAs, USA Pros, and these, as far as like simplicity and how solid they are I think just the best of everything. They're very, very fast to attach to the tree, and they're very tight. Like, you don't get hardly any sag with either of these sticks. So this is by far my favorite attachment method, and they both share that. Another similarity that they both have is the rope containment button. You'll see here down at the bottom, they both have this little button, and they're slightly different in shape and style, but same purpose. You can contain that Dynalite rope right there around the stick, which makes for very, very clean stacking. That is a feature that's lacking in some of the other sticks on the market. You might have great sticks, but when you go to wrap up your attachment system at the end of the day, it's just a clustered mess. So I really like what Tethrd has done with that rope containment system. The final similarity that I want to point out to you is that they both share the same stacking method. Let's look at that on this Tethrd One Stick. They have these rubber pins, 2 at the bottom that are a little bit longer, and then 2 up at the top that are a little bit shorter. And the way they work, let me grab another one here. Basically, the longer pin is going to seat first into the receiving holes on one of the other sticks. So you're going to partially seat it, just kind of set the tips of them in there, and then line up the top and seat the stick the rest of the way. And you can see it's just very, very solid. What I do is attach little paracord loops to a couple of my sticks, and I just hang 2 of them like that on one side. Typically they'd be flipped around. I would have the one with the loop on the inside. That way I can just grab this other one, and as I'm going to hang it on the tree, all I have to do is grab it, and I can pull it off the first one. Very clean, very easy, very quiet, works very well. Let me show you that same stacking method with the Skeletor. Alright, so same principle here. I have the other 3 of them. All I'm going to do is take the stick, line up at the bottom, receiving holes in the standoff, and then I'm just going to push them together. And you can see with 4 of those, there's no metal on metal, there's no clanking, it is just quiet. So it's a very, very solid system, and that's the third feature that the Skeletors and the One Sticks share in common. So with those kind of similarities out of the way, let's jump into what really makes these 2 sticks different. All right, so I have the 2 sticks back on the table here, talking about the differences. The first thing I want to point out to you is the profile of the sticks. You'll notice that the One Sticks stack much more compactly than the Skeletors. The Skeletors, let me just get my tape measure out here. The Skeletors from the table to the top of the stick are just about 7 inches, whereas the One Sticks are 6 1/8 to that button, maybe something like that. So just about an inch more shallow profile on the One Sticks. You'll also notice if I take them and stand them on end here, the One Sticks are standing on the pegs there, significantly shorter. Once again, you're probably talking a difference of, I don't know, 20.5 inches there. And on the Skeletor stick, if I knock them off the table here, on the Skeletor stick, you're looking at about 25.5. So about 5 inches difference in height between the two, with those steps all the way up. If I were to fold those flat, we're looking at 20.5 versus 22. So just maybe an 1.5 inch difference that way. So by and large, these are just a lot more compact, a lot more packable. One of the things that I like about these, and this might be a silly thing, but I take all my stuff in, a typical 18-gallon tote. With the One Sticks, I can throw these in most any 18-gallon tote and they fit just fine. I cannot do that with the Skeletors. They're just a smidge too long to fit in a lot of my totes cleanly. So especially with the steps up. So that's one difference. One thing that I'll point out to you that's different, is very, very obvious, are the steps and the standoffs between the 2 sticks. The Tethrd One Stick has a fixed step with an integrated standoff, whereas the Skeletors have folding steps and separate standoffs. They do have very similar profiles. If you look at the standoffs, they're quite similar. I would say that the One Sticks kind of have more of an arc to them towards the outside, which I really like for a lot of those weird angled trees, and especially bigger trees. That flatter shape, I think, helps you grab pretty solid. But one thing I will note, both of these standoffs grab the trees very, very well. I have been very impressed with the performance of these standoffs. In my opinion, these are definitely some of the best standoffs in a budget stick of the stuff that I have tried and tested. You'll also notice that both of them kind of have tips that flare up, so that's very similar, and they both have traction on the steps. So very solid climbing platforms. Even if you get them on a little bit of an angle, it's kind of nice that they have that flare up, so your boot's not going to go sliding off the end. So by and large, the standoffs function very similarly, and the steps function similarly when you have them on the tree, but obviously these fold. So some people may take advantage of that, other people might not whatsoever. The other difference that you'll notice, the Tethrd One Sticks have these glow tabs integrated or wrapped around the step. So in the dark, you shine your flashlight on that, it's going to glow in the dark. Those are a missing feature on the Skeletor. So that's kind of a nice feature of the One Stick. Another thing that I will point out is the step-to-step distance, and the overall distance is different between the 2 sticks. If I try to line up the steps there, you'll notice that the Tethrd One Stick is a little bit shorter. Let me pull the tape measure back out here, give you some measurements. The Tethrd One Stick across the center is about 17 1/4 from the top of the step to the top of the step. The Skeletor from top of step to top of step is just about an inch bigger, 18 and a quarter, 18 and 3/8, something like that. The overall length of the Skeletor is about 20 inches, and the overall length of the one stick is under 18, about 17 and 3/4, something like that. So you have a 2-inch overall distance between the sticks, but only a 1-inch step-to-step distance. So, you know, it's kind of half dozen here, half dozen the other. This is a more compact stick, but you're only giving up 1 inch to gain, or to, you know, kind of make that sacrifice. So not a huge functional difference there in all reality. Another thing that I'll point out, we noticed earlier that the sticks stack much higher, the Skeletors do. That's because they have more foot room. When you put these on a tree, the biggest downside to the Tethrd One Stick, in my opinion, and the opinion of a lot of people, is that there's not a lot of boot room on it. Doesn't bother me. I'm on my sticks for a minute. I wanted lightweight sticks. And if I got to stand on my tiptoes for a minute, that's no big deal to me. But it does bother some people. Some people want maximum boot room. If you want maximum boot room, you're going to want to go with the Skeletors. Let me show you the distance here. You're talking 3.5 inches to the outside tip on this stick, whereas you're talking 5 inches. So a whole 1.5 inch difference. Further away from the tree, the steps are going to be. So for climbing, a guy that wants just kind of maximum security, the Skeletor might be a really, really good way to go. Other than that is, I would say, most of the functional differences between the two sticks, besides probably the biggest one, the weight. So let's throw these two on a scale and see how they compare. All right, got the scale out. Let's throw them on the scale, see how they compare. Here is the Tethrd Skeletor. This is just a simple kitchen scale. 2 pounds, 1.7 ounces. That's with the attachment system, so just a smidge over 2 pounds. The One Sticks, I'll flip these around, are 1 pound, 0.7 ounces. So a half an ounce more than 1 pound. So they come in pretty much right what they are said to be. So these sticks are half the weight, and that's why you're paying the cost premium. That's why the standoffs are a little bit smaller to hit that mark. That's why they're 1 inch shorter. In order to hit the 1 pound mark, they had to make those kinds of sacrifices. So basically, guys, those are the features and the side-by-side breakdown of the Skeletors versus the One Sticks. So to give you kind of my final opinions, what would make one guy pick a One Stick over a Skeletor, or a Skeletor over a One Stick? Obviously, the biggest difference is price, right? You know, these are a premium stick. They're going to cost you premium money. So if you want to get a really good climbing stick at a what's now considered a budget price, I would go with the Tethrd Skeletors. Sure, there's other sticks out there. The Novik sticks or the Trophy Line sticks are popular. I don't like those because they have a 15-inch step-to-step. They're very, very small. The thing about the Tethrd Skeletors, now Tethrd's not going to tell you this, but take a look at the stick. All these holes are the exact same size. If you wanted to make this 15 inches, you could certainly take these bolts out, move them up here a couple holes, re-drill the hole down through the I-beam for the standoff, move it up, and lop 2 or 3 inches of this metal off and get down to 15 inches, and your weight's probably going to be very comparable to what those Trophy Line sticks are. So I like the way these stack. I like the way they bite the tree. I like the foot room that they have on them. They're a good budget stick. My favorite option out there. If you're looking for more foot room, this is going to be the stick to go with. It's just further away from the tree, and you can see how far those steps angle out. If you look at the design of the Skeletors, that I-beam is kind of a triangular shape, which pushes those steps further away from the tree, which is really going to maximize your boot room. So if you're a guy that's running 12, 13, 14 size shoes and big winter bulky boots, the Skeletor is going to be a very, very good stick for you. On the other hand, if you are a guy who wants the lightest sticks possible, these are the lightest sticks by a mile. I mean, there's nothing really even close to them at the same weight. Everything out there is, 25, 30% heavier, or a lot of these premium sticks are 50% heavier than this stick when you're comparing the same length. That's one thing to keep in mind when you're looking at sticks, is look at the step-to-step distance and make sure you're comparing them across brands the same when you're looking at weight. So if you're wanting to cut weight, this is definitely the stick to go with. The other thing that's nice about these sticks is that they are so packable and they are so light, both in your gear tote and strapping them to your pack, and when you're climbing up the tree. Because they're so light, they are just really easy to manage. And I'll show you kind of how I would set mine up here. Basically, as I mentioned, I have paracord loops just looped through the standoff on 2 of the sticks. Alright, so when I stack them, I'm going to stack the stick without the loop on top of the stick with the loop. So basically, you're just going to put it over there, line them up. Some people don't like lining them up. If you don't like that, Austin at Genesis 3D Printing has some great stick stack stow clips that you can clip them together. But basically, I stack 2 like that. The third one, I'm just going to run, you can run it really on whatever side you want, as long as it's the one that you take off first. So, all right, so I would strap them to my pack like that. They weigh nothing. You can put them all on one side and put them on the front. It's just lots of options as far as where to put them. When I get to the bottom of the tree, I'm going to pull them apart, and I'm going to leave the one without the loop in the middle. That way I can just slide this one on the end off by pushing up. I'm going to hang this on one side, and then I'm going to take this one, I'm going to hang it on the other side, just like that. That way, when I'm climbing the tree, that's going to hang there, and all I have to do is reach down and grab this stick, pull it nice and slow, and I can take them apart without making a noise. So that's how I hang mine from the saddle. It works really, really well. I have decided that the One Sticks are what I'm going to hold on to. I use Mike Isbell's GC single movable aider with these sticks. I set it about my chin level. I'm getting about 5.5 feet with that aider, which is just a single step movable aider, out of one of these sticks. So 3 sticks, I'm getting to 16 feet. I can put my platform 2 feet higher than that. I'm finding in a lot of cases, I just don't need to go higher than that. I climb to cover. I hunt with a trad bow when I'm bow hunting. So I like to be a little bit lower so the shot angles aren't as steep. And that for me works out really, really well. With this package and a Latitude platform or the Tethrd Predator, you're 6 pounds all in sticks and platforms. So just really not much heavier at all than a, one sticking setup that's probably going to be 4 pounds plus 2 pounds worth of rappel rope and stuff. So I like these sticks, but if you don't want to spend the money, I think the Tethrd Skeletors are a really good option. In my opinion, and I know everybody has different things that they're looking for, but I wanted a stick that was lightweight and easy to pack in. That's why I went with the One Sticks. I think for that purpose, they're the best sticks on the market. I like the stacking system. I know it's not for everybody. For me, it's worked really, really well. I have some stealth strips that I'm going to put on these around kind of the shaft. You can buy those right from Tethrd. I think they're 17 bucks or something, and that'll help mitigate some clanging and stuff like that. But both sets of sticks are, in my opinion, fantastic. And I would heartily recommend either set to you, whether you're looking for a budget or a premium stick. Both function well on a variety of trees, variety of barks. They just don't settle much. I haven't had a kick out with either stick. I think you'll be pleased no matter what way you go. So guys, that's my kind of comparison and breakdown of the Tethrd Skeletors versus the Tethrd One Sticks. Once again, if you're concerned about price or foot room, I would go with the Skeletors. If you're looking for a stick that's lightweight and packable, this is going to be the stick you want to go with. I think both of them are great options, and I'd heartily recommend them to you, whether you're looking to spend, budget money or you're looking to buy a premium stick. Hope this video has been helpful. Stay tuned to the channel, and as always, I appreciate your support.